Hey, everybody.
What's going on?
Hope everybody's doing good tonight.
You look in that little hole, man. There's a lot of people in there.
I know you can see all kinds of people in there. I was going to tell you, Dan, if you, I think if you put one more box of them Thunderbolt 22s on that shelf, that thing's going to collapse on top of you.
Yeah.
Whenever you were standing up, or like, oh crap, that thing's about ready to go.
It falls down occasionally.
Is that a coyote call behind you?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I was trying to figure out what that was. Anyway, have you used that thing very much?
Yeah, a little bit. I've killed a few with it. Not a lot. I don't get into it as much as some people, but
yeah,
they come around the yard, they die.
It's tough to. That stuff's really fun. That night hunting coyotes, but
you got to move around a lot because when I would hunt them, like if you try to get the ones in the yard, once you fool them once, the rest of the pack ain't coming in.
Yeah.
And if you try it constantly, then you just educate them. So you have to back off for a while, and you know.
Yep. I just don't have the. I mean, it's like it feels like a little bit of a young man's game to me. Like a guy that can just stay out all night and coyote hunt and then go deer hunting the next day or just whatever. I don't know.
I think if I had a crystal ball when I was a kid, I would have just fell in love with that. I thought they were the coolest creatures when I was a kid.
Yeah. Yep. Anyway, what else has been going on? I haven't really talked to you much. We haven't been on here for a while either.
No, not a lot. I published my book. That's out.
Yep.
Did you see that?
Oh, yeah. Yep. That's what we're going to mostly talk about tonight. But,
look at how thick it is. Big book.
170 pages or something like that.
Yeah. This is the very first copy. See, not for sale.
Yeah.
Crap they put across it. This was the proof to make sure it was good.
So what's the process of making your own book like that? Like, how long did that take you to do?
I've been writing stories for years, as many people have seen on Facebook, and I took the very best ones and I collected them.
Yeah.
And, put them in a book format. So the process is you call Dan Jr. and you tell him put a book together. Use Amazon. Actually, the first one I did, Mario put together for me.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. I never realized how much work it was because he was just like, oh, yeah, we'll just throw this together, put some stories in there. And it was his idea. He was the one who really pushed for it.
Yeah.
And, I just thought it went together easy. When I tried doing it myself, like, holy crap, this is a lot of work. A lot more than I thought.
It seems like it would be. I mean, I've never wrote a book before, so I don't know. But
there's these crazy rules, like you got to spell things right and stuff. And it's like, they made me do a about the author thing in there, and I don't like writing about myself kind of thing. I don't like the bragging part. It just feels weird. You know what I mean? Like, so I made a mockery of it. They made me do it, so I had fun with it. So that's my favorite section, is about the author.
So keep that in mind if you guys get the book. When you read it, Dan was making fun of. Were you making fun of yourself or just like exaggerating it?
I just told a story about how I became a human.
I got you. I left the link in the description of your book on Amazon, cool. So everybody can go over there and check it out.
It's rocking. It's been selling like crazy. It's actually
I know
at the top of the charts right now for hunting books.
I know, that's crazy. Right up there with Cameron Haynes's Endure. I think it's what that book's called.
I'll have him beat by tomorrow. You watch. That thing's rocking. He's number one. I'm number two, and I'm number one on like something else. What was it? On the best sellers list, he's number one, but I'm like, forget what it is. But there's a couple of lists.
Does that surprise you?
Yeah, a little bit.
I thought it
would.
Then again,
you know what? There's not a lot of hunting books anymore.
Yeah, true. Yeah, because I noticed like the third one is like some gun book or something, isn't it? It seemed like or some. Yeah. I know. I saw that the bestseller was like Cameron Haynes, you, and then Steve Vernella had a bunch up there, and those books have been out forever. Like even Cameron Haynes' book's been out for a long time now. So that's cool though. Hopefully stays up there for a long time for you.
Yeah.
Anyway, you ready for deer season yet?
I am.
In a week, we'll be hunting.
Yeah, you'll be hunting sooner than me. I'll be hunting. Let's see, what is today? Thursday.
The
24th. I'll be on my way to a hunting trip a week from now. Actually, a week from now, I'll be glassing because the next day will be my hunt. You will already have gone on a hunt and come back by that time.
Yes.
So we're going to have a lot of content coming up on our YouTube page.
We're going to be pumping it out. I leave tomorrow morning for Tennessee, which is, I'm not bummed I'm going hunting, but I'm really bummed about the weather. It's like forecasted to be 100 pretty much all weekend.
I've been swimming over here.
Yeah. Is it hot up there too?
So hot. Today's supposed to be the last day of it, so hopefully we have a good weekend because I got to get my crap together this weekend for next week.
Yeah. It was like, I think of the heat index today was like 112 here. Horrible. I went down by my house here on this little piece of private I can hunt, and I put up a trail camera, and I pretty much put it in the same place every year. And the farmer saw me down there, and he drove his side by side down there. He's like, "You're out doing stuff in this heat?" He goes, "You're crazy." But it was like 9:30. It wasn't really that hot yet, but sounds like by looking at the comments, everybody's hot right now.
Yeah. This little room I'm in right now is it's a hot box.
Oh,
it's hot in here.
Mine is too. I don't have AC in my office, and then I always close the door to the house, like to the main house, for the show, just for noise purposes. And I may have to open it up here a little bit. You can see I'm glistening a little bit already, so it's getting hot.
We just had a storm blow through, and it didn't really cool it much at all.
Yeah. My dad the other day, or yesterday, I guess it was, he has some dog kennels out behind his house there, and he was spraying, just playing with in the water with the dogs, keeping them cool. And I guess he said once he sprayed the roof and stuff of the dog kennels, it cooled down like 15 degrees underneath his lean-to there just from spraying it. So everything was so hot. You think what do you think my Tennessee hunt's going to be like when it's going to be 101?
I was going to ask you about that. I mean, how do you think that's going to affect your hunting?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's not good. It's not like a good thing.
Scouting, so it's affecting it.
Yeah.
You were going to go today, weren't you?
I was thinking about going today.
You can't really walk around in a day like today. I mean, you could glass out of your truck or something, but.
Yeah. I talked to a couple guys down there, and they're saying it's not good. It's not ideal, and the real hot stuff will close them down a little bit. But they said, hot to those deer is different than what we feel is hot. They're pretty used to that hot weather. Now this seems pretty excessive.
About hot or on crack. I've killed a lot of deer in hot weather.
Yeah,
they don't move around all day long and stuff, but they still move. You just got to hunt them where they are and when they move.
Mm-hmm.
They still move pretty good. I mean, they're on summer patterns. They move pretty good at this time of year, hot or not.
That's kind of what I was thinking too. Is
it's just going to have to move. Your late afternoons are going to rock, but I think you'll actually even get some morning hunts that are okay because deer will adjust because the mornings will be cooler.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they'll probably just want to get up and move because it's cool in the mornings.
Yeah, they're going to want to get their stuff done before it gets hot out,
Yeah. That's what my buddy that I'm hunting with, he was like, Sunday may be our day. He's like, it's going to be like the high of like 95 instead of 101 or whatever. I was like, that's like still winter. Hot. Yeah, right. I don't know if it's going to matter too much, but we do for the property we're planning on focusing on. We do have a perfect wind all weekend. It had to be surprisingly, we have north winds all weekend with that heat. So that's
now. How long are you hunting?
I'll be there Sunday night. So it's Friday. The season doesn't even open until Friday tomorrow, and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and it's over. and I'm coming home.
So it's a 3-day season, and you're allowed how many bucks?
3, I believe.
You use a gun?
You can use a rifle. Yep.
Yeah, you should pile them up. Get it out of your system, and then we can hold out for some really big stuff.
I'm not going to be too awful picky. If it's a nice deer in velvet, I'm going to shoot it for sure.
Yeah,
because
it'd be nice to get a good buck down in velvet for sure.
Yeah, because it's.
I saw a bunch of people were telling me about some sort of new spray that you spray on the antlers.
You spray.
Yeah, some spray stuff. You spray on the antlers, and it keeps them velvet from rotting or something.
Yeah, I've seen that. I think I've seen.
I wonder if that's a scam because I've seen it on commercials, but that ain't what taxidermists have always told me. They always inject it with formaldehyde and stuff.
Formaldehyde it.
It almost looked like a scam. I saw the commercial.
It may just be to preserve it long enough to get to the taxidermist or something. I don't know. There has to be some fine print there. I was worried about that though, and a lot of people said if you just get them in the freezer, they could, they'll stay okay for a while until you get them to the taxidermist. But we don't have taxidermists around here that does velvet deer. I'd have to get it mounted down there somewhere.
Yeah, you might want to look at that before you go down there because you're gonna have to find someone to take care of it.
Yeah, I already have.
I got processor.
I got it all figured out. We're in the CWD zone too in Tennessee, so we got to follow some special rules anyway. But as far as transporting the deer and all that stuff, I'll have to get it taken care of down there, which isn't a big deal. But I can't just throw it in the back of my truck and head up to Indiana,
Yeah. What does CWD stand for? Cool wide deer or something?
Yeah, that's the zone we're in. Cool wide deer. I'm super interested to go down there because there's a few guys that are going to be kind of in camp there or whatever you want to call it. Not really a camp, but in the area, and we're going to meet up at night and stuff, and just to see what their opinion is of the whole CWD situation in Tennessee.
Yeah, that should be some cool conversations.
Yeah, I know. I have heard some guys say that when they got it on their farm, it did pretty well decimate some of their herds, but I don't know. And then the rules, like they don't seem like they're doing what Wisconsin did. Like they're not quite as extreme. So you can kill 3 bucks, but you can kill 2. Like in the CWD zone, you can kill 3 bucks. Then you can kill 2 everywhere else. So it's not too drastic of a change. But I think they're doing you can earn a buck tag too. So if you send in your buck that you shot for testing, they'll give you another tag. So you can continually get buck tags all year.
Nice.
But you have to test it.
Yeah, I just wonder how the hunting's going to be. I've never been in Tennessee hunting wise. If they kill that many bucks, if it's going to be hard to find bucks or.
From what people told me, no. There's a lot of deer there, they say. So I'm going to find out. They said there's not a lack of deer there. Now, they said the odds of seeing something over 150 is pretty slim. But honestly, that's pretty slim everywhere to see something over 150, But I think that they said anything from 110 to 130, you got a good chance of seeing something like that, maybe, which is cool with me.
Anything in that range that's in velvet would actually be a nice deer.
Yeah, look, it would be. It would be for sure.
Especially 110 inches. I mean, people don't think that's that big, but on an 8-pointer, that ain't a bad frame.
No.
If it's really 110, I mean, you see what people call 110.
Yeah.
90 inches
right.
or whatever. But
right.
If it's really 110 or above, it ain't that bad of a buck.
No.
I mean, in Michigan, 115 makes the books or their book.
I think it may be lower than that.
Is it?
Let me look it up.
I thought it was 115.
It could be. Surely someone from Michigan's on here. I'll Google Michigan Pope and Young. Oh, this
No,
is
it's not.
giving me a bunch.
It's commemorative bucks is what Michigan's book is.
Oh, okay.
Pope and Young is nationwide.
You're right. There it is. Let me just look at the comments, make sure someone hasn't answered us already.
I don't see it.
Yeah, me either. Anyway, let us know in the comment section. I can't find it. Yeah, it's 100 in Michigan, 100 inches. I thought it was.
Oh, okay.
Which that's, I mean, not to bash the commemorative bucks of Michigan, but that's a pretty small for a book buck to put in the books, you know. I think so. Don't you, Dan?
Yeah.
But whatever. I mean, you can put them all in there if you want. For all I care, you
The
know.
next one I put in the books will probably be the state record only because I think I can sell the rack for a lot of money.
Yeah. Yeah. Is Wisconsin's is standard. It is like 125 for Pope and Young.
Yes, it's the same as Pope and
and
Young.
Young.
Yeah, they're identical.
Yeah. See, I think in Indiana, Pope and Young's the same, but Boone and Crockett's 150.
Score is so deceiving. I mean, we were just laughing before the show about somebody giving me crap about saying in a video how I shot a really nice buck and it was 140, and they're like, 140 is a dink.
Yeah.
That particular 140 inch buck is an eight frame that is just a monster.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got one that's 125 inch buck. It was 125 and 2/8. That was one of my first, early bucks. Then I actually had it scored. It just barely made Pope and Young, but that's because it had a brow tine on one side, no brow tine on the other, and it had like 5 up or 4 up on the beam on the other side. So it was like only 6 scoreable points. So it scored as a 6-pointer,
Mm-hmm.
which that buck was huge.
Mm.
So what's your plans for Tennessee? I mean, how you going at it? I'm sure you're studying maps. Or you looking at?
Yeah, we have one private farm we can hunt. It's a pretty decent sized farm. It's like 100 or around 400 acres. And it sounds like we can. I haven't been on the farm. I've only looked at maps on it, but my buddy's Patrick's been on there, and he said there's a really good spot where we can actually glass fairly well. So I think like tomorrow night, we're probably going to set up and do some glassing and just kind of try to find a deer moving. So that way we don't have to put any pressure on the farm at all. And plus, I mean, I could sneak up on one and shoot it with a rifle if I wanted to, too. And supposedly the farmer planted a sunflower field on it, and I didn't know this because we don't have very many sunflower fields, but I guess deer love sunflowers this time of year.
Yeah, we got some down here that they plant mostly on the public land. I don't know why they do it. I think they do it as a food source. And doves. But deer go crazy on those for some reason.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're actually eating the sunflowers or something, but they're in there all the time.
Yeah. I talked to Scott Cronin about it, and he said that they'll eat the whole pod off the top of the sunflower. So, like I said, we don't have a lot of sunflower fields here, so
but you might have some competition with acorns depending on how they're doing down there.
Yeah.
Have you thought about that?
Not really. I figure it'd be too early down there for that.
I don't know. They're dropping here.
Yeah. Well, we're pretty far south of you, though. That's according to people down there. They said they don't start falling until a little later down there, but you never know. Also, I guess that farm has a lot of like CRP fields and stuff, which that could be competition. That could be something in there they're eating. But I think we got to. So our plan is tomorrow night is to get up on the spot and do some glassing and just see what we see, and then we'll have kind of Saturday and Sunday to make moves. There's also some public spots around there, but we're going to start on this piece of private we can hunt, and go from there. I'm gonna bring my bow too, just in case. But right now, my plan is to get one on the ground with a gun. I haven't shot a buck with a gun for a while. I'm kind of excited about it. What do you think about water? When it's that hot, Dan? You think it'll be a factor, or do you think they'll?
It could. I mean, if you have prolonged water, I think prolonged dry heat, they're probably going to be around water. I would think there's going to be nearby water somewhere. I don't think that's a bad option at all. As a matter of fact, if it's really, really hot during the days and you got a low wet area and it's thick, I would think the deer would go down there to cool down. I think just looking around my house at Carol's collection of cats, the fat ones are laying around like this. You think they're going to die.
Yeah.
You know? And they keep going over to the water bowl and actually like a human's getting their fur wet and stuff, where you don't usually see cats want to do that. And I would think the deer would be the same. I mean, that hot weather, they got to cool down, so I would want to be around water and I want to be around food. And I think those early and late hours are going to be the ticket. Should be interesting. I can't wait to see how you guys do.
Oh, I can't. I'm ready to get down there. I'm like I said, I'm a little bit bummed about the weather, but it is what it is. Can't do anything about that. He has some trail cameras out there, and there's some pretty decent deer on camera. I mean, nothing giant, but there's a few pretty good ones on camera that I'd be super happy with.
How many people are hunting on the farm while you're there?
We're the only people that are hunting it.
Who's we?
Me and Patrick, my buddy. That's it. Nobody's hunted it this year. He doesn't even think anybody's been on it other than him to put those trail cameras out a couple months ago, whenever it was. So, and the farmer planting sunflowers or whatever they planted in there. So,
well, those deer at this time of the year, I mean, summer deer are a lot easier to kill. Mm-hmm. I mean, they're not in that,
especially with a rifle.
Right.
It's insane that you can use a rifle to me, but whatever. The South is different,
Yeah.
They got different rules down there.
I mean, I always said if they opened Wisconsin up September 1st, man, would we do a killing?
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, for sure.
I can think of about the time they open them up.
Yeah, I could think of a couple deer right now. I could go kill if season would open here. In the next week.
They're a whole different deer. I mean, you can almost walk up to them now. I mean, they're a lot less. The summer deer before their antlers harden and their testosterone starts.
Yeah,
they're a whole different animal.
Well, it's just like like Kentucky. So many people kill big deer in Kentucky. Yeah, the opening weekend there, and a lot of it's because, I mean, this is a controversial thing for sure, but like you can put out bait, you can put out salt licks and all that stuff, and like like it or not, the deer use those in the summertime. Like they come to those things, especially, the minerals and all that kind of crap. So like you can just hunt over that stuff down there. So a lot of people kill that stuff. That's why those outfitters do so well in Kentucky, and they just spend however much money they have to keep corn and minerals in the ground, and then set up some Joe Blow that gave them $5,000 to go shoot a 125-inch deer. It's like, and plus, like you said, they're just a little easier to pattern this time of year. But it does suck hunting this time of year, though. I mean, especially down there, it's hot and buggy and everything else.
I'm sure there's a lot of people waiting for October that are saying, "Oh, boo-hoo, poor you."
Yeah. Hey, you go down there and hunt.
I'd like to. I just
yeah. Well, not you in particular. I'm talking about the people saying boo-hoo. I was like,
yeah, I know, but I mean, even me, I've been thinking, geez, I mean, I'd like to be hunting now. I was looking at South Dakota has a section there opened earlier yet. It's already open. They're already killing deer there, and I would like to get out and do some of them early hunts. Just hunt the whole season, not just the whole work thing gets in the way.
South Dakota would be nice this time of year too, I'd imagine, weather-wise. Yeah. Joe Miles killed a nice 8-pointer in velvet a few days ago in South Carolina.
Oh, nice.
They open August 15th every year.
Mm-hmm. So I said they've been open for a little bit yet already.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Geez, like 9 days already they've been open.
Yep. They're different down there though. It's like you can run dogs, you can use rifle. I don't think it's just like deer season. It's just there's no different seasons down there. I don't think it's just whatever's open's open.
Yeah, some of those places would have really giant deer being taken if they would change their setups for how they hunt. Tennessee might be one of them. Sounds like the way they're allowing you so many deer and using rifles and.
Yep. Now this rifle thing, I think this is just a CWD zone thing.
Oh,
I don't.
I
think
thought maybe it was just to allow people the opportunity to take a velvet deer.
I don't think so. I think it's only in the CWD zone. I can that I can use a rifle in. But I've been shooting my bow pretty good though, so we'll see. Maybe if I shoot one with a rifle, then I'll start bow hunting. I don't know. What is your like your thought process, Dan, when it comes to that kind of stuff? Like, do you just use whatever weapon is most efficient in season, or do you ever hunt with a bow during rifle season?
I have, but usually if I bow hunt during rifle season, there's a reason for it. Like I'm hunting on bow only land, or something to that degree. I don't necessarily. I haven't really targeted bucks with a bow during gun season. To me, it just. I mean, what are you trying to prove? You know?
Yeah. Yeah, good point.
It's to me, it's just hunting. I'm just out having fun, killing stuff and eating it. But I don't know. I don't know that I'd want a longer gun season because I like my bow hunting.
Yeah,
but I like the gun hunting too. Just it's a nice short season. I don't like the whole month-long season some of these places have.
That's what a buddy of mine. He made a comment to me. It kind of set me back a little bit. He was like, I told him, I'm like, I'm probably going to take a rifle down there. And he's like, oh, you're better than that. I'm like, no, I'm not. Like, I'll shoot one with a rifle. I don't care. But people make weird comments like that sometimes. And
teach your own. I mean, if he wants to hunt him with a bow, have him with a bow, you know.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to Battle of the Bows.
Yeah, me too.
So that for those who don't know, we're doing a little bit of a challenge. It's me and Eric, Ricky, and Jacob against you, Gary, and your dad. Is there anybody else going with you?
Nope.
Okay, so we're gonna have 4 bucks down. You're gonna have none, and we're gonna really rock.
Right. You would smoke us then. Gary messaged me the other day and was like, "Is this going to be like a battle of the bows?" And I said, "I think so." He got pretty fired up about that. So
cool. I really want, I'd like to have taken somebody from the public or something along too. It's just, Nebraska does not have a lot of public land, and we got to spread out real far, and we're gonna be on top of each other. I don't really,
do another one sometime.
Yeah, probably late season, but it's kind of interesting. We're gonna go to totally different areas. I'm not too sure where your group is going. I'm just gonna
I looked
on my phone so I don't end up where you're at, but I'm gonna just end up someplace totally different.
We're over 3 hours apart.
Yeah,
so pretty far apart.
I'll have to look at where you're at though, because I mark stuff all over the state.
Yeah. You and Eric, I sent to Eric too. So
yeah, I told Eric you track so I don't end up over by wherever you're
at. There's not a lot of public where I'm at either. We got to drive pretty far in between them.
I'm gung ho to get on some deer. It's been a while. I mean, I'm really looking forward to this. Our tags are good for a mule deer or a whitetail. I think where you're at, there might just be whitetails.
Yeah, there's no mule deer where I'm at.
But the tag is good for either or.
Yeah. Yep. Are you? How many days are you going to be there, Dan?
So we're going to get there Thursday. It opens Friday.
Yep.
And we're going to stay through the next Saturday, I think.
Okay. So you got it over a week then.
Yeah, and then drive home Sunday, and then I'll be too tired to go to work.
But you will anyway. And
no, I won't.
Oh, nice. Well, but man, you guys get back then. Your deer season starts the next weekend.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'll be down there. We'll be up there that weekend. I'm going to go stay at Gary's and hunt with him that weekend. So,
yeah, I'm ready to start killing some stuff. Ready to start rocking. So we should have some videos coming out pretty quick here.
Yep. I'm going to get mine up on the channel before I leave for Nebraska for sure. So about the Tennessee hunt, whether I kill one or not, it'll go up.
Right, so, with all the hunts you got going, we got to get them things up fast so that otherwise you get piled up and get behind. Me too. I mean, whatever we do in Nebraska, I got to start editing as soon as I get home.
Yep. You guys got a pretty nice cabin, it sounds like, in Nebraska to stay in, huh?
Yeah, real nice. Stuff's cheap there too.
Yeah, we got a house. It's not I wouldn't say it's real nice, but it's like a house, a little house that has a couple bedrooms for us to stay in. So, but yeah, it was way cheaper than a hotel renting that house. For one hotel room. I mean, I think it was for the whole week. It was like $800 for the whole week. Actually, it's more than a week. So you couldn't get a hotel for that cheap, really. Well, you could, but you'd be staying at the Red Roof Inn with the pee stains on your bed.
Yeah.
Tony was asking us, is the Battle of the Bowls public land only? It probably will. It probably will be. But
yeah, it probably will be, but it's not required.
Nah.
But I don't have any private land there. I don't think you do either. Mm-hmm. So I'm pretty sure we'll be on all public land, but I don't designate it as it has to be.
Yeah.
But everybody's coming from out of state. Nobody has any connections there or anything. But if somebody wants to knock on a door or something, more power to them.
Heck yeah. Yep.
Pretty much an equal playing field. Anybody that would go there to hunt would do the same thing. If somebody offered them a place to hunt or they knocked on a door and hunted there, I mean, we're not doing anything different than anybody else would.
No.
So it's kind of cool.
Right. It's just a different world out there. I think it's such a, the culture out there is different when it comes to hunting. It seems like just not as many people are hardcore deer hunters, from what I saw at least. Now, I think the problem you'll run into is non-residents out there. Probably a lot of people from everywhere else coming to hunt. Yeah,
I think if I go into mule deer territory, I think that where the animals mix, where mule deer and whitetail mix, the people there look at whitetails like we look at carp.
Right.
They don't really appreciate them. And I think that most people will be doing spot and stalking for mule deer. And if I go down in the bottoms and hunt whitetails, I'll do pretty good. I would love to shoot a giant mule deer, but I'm not very good at long ranges and stuff like that. And if I get an opportunity, I'll stalk one. I'll go after them. Or if one comes by and it's a nice buck, I'll probably shoot it. But I think I'm going to concentrate on the bottoms and stuff. And I think those areas do not have the pressure on the whitetails like the area you're going to.
Yeah.
I think most people are pressuring the mule deer.
I think you're right. That's my experience out there too. Is it seemed like there was a lot more people out west messing around with mule deer than there was. I had that in my head when I first went out there. I was like, I want to go out and see if I can get a mule deer. And when I got there, I'm like, oh, everybody else is trying to do the same thing. But
and then if you drive around or something, you will see those mule deer.
Yeah,
you can see giant mule deer. So it's pretty tempting to go after them, but you're not going to see the whitetails because they're down in the thick bottoms.
Yep.
They're hiding,
And I don't think there's a lot of places for them to hide. I mean, I think if you can find a good area where there's some good cover, they're going to be in there,
Yep.
So
I've been mapping some stuff out, finding some good areas and stuff. And
that's kind of what I did last year.
I heard that they got like a grouse season that's going to be opening up and people are going to be walking everywhere.
Yep. I saw rabbit hunters, grouse hunters, and some squirrel hunters. I never saw another deer hunter when I was hunting Nebraska.
Still early for rabbit hunting.
Well, it was an old man that was just running his beagle dogs. He wasn't actually hunting. He was just training dogs. But he was pretty funny. You could tell he was a grumpy old man, but he was complaining about he sat there and complained about his wife to me for like an hour one day in the middle of the day. I'm like, okay, I got to get out of here. But he's like, I just keep these beagles so I can get away from my wife every day, have an excuse. I'm like, all right. But it was pretty funny. He had a whole pack of them out there just running rabbits. He was just sitting on his tailgate and his dogs were running around. And I saw tons of squirrel hunters though. I think squirrel season probably came in like it does everywhere in the middle of August. So I had one of those guys walk right underneath me. I had to I finally said, "Hey," and he looked up real quick and waved and turned around, went the other way. But the deer, they were still in there. I still saw deer that night that he walked underneath me. He almost followed me in there, I think, because I got no more than got set up. Here he come. You guys have that problem in Wisconsin too, don't you?
A little bit.
Really?
I usually don't because I usually hunt down in the water and crap.
Yeah.
If you're where I'm at in Wisconsin, if you're running into small game hunters and stuff, you're not seeing giant bucks. You might see deer, but you're not seeing giant bucks. You got to get to where people don't go.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that for sure. See, this is the opposite. The squirrels that were, they're down in these draws and where the oaks and stuff are, where the deer were in Nebraska. So
I can remember one time out here hunting an island where it was I don't know, it's 2 miles from the road and probably not quite a half mile, but quite a ways in from the swamp edge.
Mm-hmm.
And you had to go through water that was waist deep. And I mean, I had to get soaked to get to this island. And I'm sitting there hunting and I hear something coming out of the swamp thinking it's a buck. And up out of the swamp comes this Hmong guy in waders with a 22 hunting squirrels. He's going to get these giant squirrels that grow old on the island or something. I was like, holy crap. This guy's more hardcore than all the deer hunters around here.
Right? A hunting beast squirrel hunter.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I try not to get frustrated with those guys because they're just doing what they
they're just having fun too. They're doing their thing. And
they got as much right to go squirrel hunting as we do deer hunting. Right. So
yeah, it's frustrating, but it's probably frustrating for him too. He wades all the way out to this thing. And here's this guy sitting in a tree looking for deer.
Yeah. Right. And those guys, I know a lot of really hardcore or small game hunters around here. And dude, they have the same attitudes we do. It's like, you freaking deer hunters everywhere. I can't go anywhere because the stupid deer hunters, they get all up mad. They just throw a big fit about us,
You want to see hardcore hunters. Look at duck hunters. For a silly little bird. I mean, they almost kill themselves out in swamps and stuff.
Yeah, and they get up there 3 a.m. in the morning, put all them decoys out, and they kill 2 ducks, and they got to drag it all back in.
You never know if there's going to be a bottom when they jump out of the boat.
I'm with you there. I have no desire to get into duck hunting.
Those duck hunters are hardcore.
I've been a few times and I don't find the joy. I mean, it's fun, but it's not like the work pleasure wasn't there for me. I'm just like, I don't. Yeah. They all look the same. It's one of those things where they all just look the same too.
They kind of took the fun out of duck hunting too with that stupid up here. They got a point system. I don't know what they got everywhere else, but you got to know every single duck and male, female, and with the point system, and you can't go over a certain number of points. And
worried about your own.
I haven't kept up with it in years, so maybe I got something off, but that's the way it always was. And I'm not.
Yeah. My old pastor, he used to do a lot of goose hunting around my house here. That kind of looked fun because they just would go out in a cornfield and kind of set their blinds up, and it wasn't didn't seem like as much work. You weren't wading out in the water, didn't have a boat you got to take out and all that stuff. But it was also always in the middle of whenever goose season is. It's always real cold. But yeah, I mean, but yeah, you're right. There's some passionate duck hunters for sure. And Indiana's a horrible duck hunting state. It's not great. So you could go and I mean, when I went, I could think of one time when it was good, and I've probably been a handful of times, and the rest of them were just you sit there and didn't see a duck in the air and then went home. So I don't know. Anyway, if you guys have any questions, let us know. We've already been talking for 40 minutes. We can do some questions tonight. You want to do some call-ins tonight, Dan? We haven't done a call-in in a long time.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Let's do call-ins.
Let's see who's out there.
I'm going to put the link to get on in the comments. It's at the very bottom. Just hop on there. Just know that you are on camera, and we'll be able to hear you when you hop on. So just don't say anything crazy.
Grab me a can of buck up.
Let's see here.
It's on the floor. Jamie just come home.
You getting an energy drink?
Yeah. Somebody suggested this last time we were on, so I.
Oh yeah, bucked up.
Yeah, haven't had it
this.
yet, so we're gonna see what it's like.
Oh, real time review.
Blue
Right
Raz.
here.
It's got like an angry looking deer on it.
Let's see that. So. It's one of those deer that's not really a deer, almost like it looks like a bad drawing of a deer.
Yeah, you remember we were talking about how like Monster and Rockstar and all those people won't sponsor hunters because they don't want the negativity around hunting.
Yeah.
So somebody said, "Who bucked up must like hunters." They got a buck on the cam, so
they do. That's true.
It spilled all over my crotch. So,
well, we don't need to see that. Does you don't have to work tomorrow, so you're probably good.
Yeah, I worked Monday, I think, so I'm good.
Oh man,
I went in Tuesday and Wednesday, but
right,
I wouldn't actually call that work. I just ate donuts and drank coffee.
Yep. Oh, that's funny. It is it's pretty comical how unproductive like work is sometimes, you know. Not to be, I don't want to call you out. It's easier for me to say that because I work for myself now, but like used to when you go into an office, like 90% of the time people are just screwing around. Yeah. You know, everybody. It's like, what are we doing here?
Yeah. I don't know. I you know, I joke around a lot. I work pretty hard, but
I know you do. It's true though. Like you go to into any office setting and it's like, man, these people don't do anything hardly.
Yeah, the people around me don't do crap. I mean, when you don't have bosses that force you to work, it's really people just do whatever they want. You guys leave for lunch and they come back 2 hours later, and you're like, just really? We're trying to get a job done here. And if you yell at them, you're the one that gets in trouble.
Yep. Oh, I know.
Actually, you're allowed to yell at and make white Christians work. Those people you're allowed to abuse. It's anybody else.
I didn't hear that one coming. I didn't think that. Hey, all right, Oleg. I hear you. Hey, man.
How you doing, Oleg?
Hey, gentlemen. How you doing? So no bear this year, huh, Dan?
What was that?
Oh, you cannot hear me? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're good now.
All right. I said no bear this year. No bear tag, huh?
No beard? Yeah.
No bear. The black one. Bear.
I was going to go to Michigan, but I would have got a really late tag. And I didn't want it to interfere with my deer hunting. So
I got you.
I will pull one next year. I'm hunting a zone in Wisconsin that you get a tag almost every year. So next year I'll pull a tag for Wisconsin for sure.
Squared away. Hey, question. Well, first of all, Dan, I am going to Canada for bear this year. I'm going to send you a link the way I did last year for awesome. Videos. I mean, you do what you got to do with it.
Send them to us.
And pardon me? I sent them a link from Appalachian Mountains from last year, but then they decided not to use it. But anyway, hey guys. So question then. One of the public properties here in Northern Illinois that I'm going to be hunting, I could not find any oaks, but it's farmland, flat, beans, corn, and a little bit of swamp. October 1st is September is Illinois opener, hence beans more than likely going to be yellowish, especially considering current weather.
Yep.
The swamp is probably about let's call it a mile away from cornfields, and in between is the beans. What do you think I should look for deer? In the tree lines by the corn, or it's still in the swamp? It's not it's not a big swamp either, by the way.
Mm-hmm. If it's really thick and you got good pockets of thickness, or good bedding cover near the corn, I would look at that. But I would certainly look around the swampy area.
No, I have a couple of cameras there, but right now there's nothing showing up.
I don't think the distance is a huge deterrent. They will travel the distance for safety, especially the older deer. You'll find a younger bucks will bed right up next to the food sources, but those older ones are just gonna they're gonna take security over food.
Yes, security would trump everything. Yeah.
Yeah. That doesn't mean they won't be by the corn, but just based on your description, I would probably look at the swampy area first.
Yeah, glass over beans to see if they're moving from there to corn. Gotcha. Another question, I probably missed it, and I haven't been on the beast for a while. So when is the bow challenge or the competition of the bows, and who you guys inviting to it?
We're doing one right away, and we don't have too many people invited to it, but we're going to do one late. We're going to invite more people, like late season, like around January.
How do I get on it? How do I get on it?
We'll probably do something where we'll ask for people to apply, and then we'll look at.
I think it's a great idea.
Yep.
Yeah. I like
also come up with some point system based on sex, national origin, age. I should qualify on a couple of things.
There you go.
All right, gentlemen. Nice talking to you.
Thanks,
Josh, I think Jake asked a cool question about harvesting velvet buck in such heat. You might want to take a look at.
Yeah, I'll find it. Thanks, Oleg.
All right, gentlemen.
Thanks. He's a fun guy. He would be fun to have on.
Yeah, he would be. He'd be a good character to have on for sure. He's a long-time listener. I remember him. I remember the first time he called in, I was afraid to pronounce his name Oleg because I'm like, surely it's not Oleg, but it was.
You don't know for sure if it was. I just said that. It looks like
no, it is. He told me it was. That's
okay.
Let's see here. Thanks for joining the membership. Kill him or wound him outdoors. That's quite the handle. Are we going to get a haircut and a shave on your out-of-town trip? Go to a barbershop and find some place to hunt, Dan.
I don't know. I'm in need of a haircut, but I usually just use my hat to keep it tamed down.
Right.
I don't know. I might shave, might not. It just depends on how I feel. I don't like having a big white beard.
Yeah.
Because it's really starting to get white and it glows. But I don't like being clean shaven either.
Right.
My wife prefers I'm clean shaven. She likes it smooth, baby smooth.
Yeah. Does it get baby smooth anymore?
No.
Pharrell asks, what do you think about using water displacement to measure racks?
It probably gives you an accurate measurement of how much bone you have.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who are pro water displacement. I really don't care that much about scores personally. It doesn't really. I think what we have is fine. I think it has its flaws. I'd rather go by gross. If you just use gross score, I think the scoring system we have works fine.
Mm-hmm.
But I really don't use it for anything much more than reference anyways, because really, I would probably shoot 120-inch 6-pointer over 140-inch 10.
Yeah.
I just love crazy big old animals. And it's not to say you don't want a big rack, but every old buck, you start getting 5, 6, 7 years old, every one of them has a rack that's worthy, no matter how it's formed.
Right.
Of my wall. I love those old animals, and I don't really care how their symmetry is or any of that crap.
Right.
And, that's one good thing about the water displacement is it doesn't default
discriminate
and stuff.
Yep. All right, Andrew, thanks for the donation, man. He says, you ever find yourself hunting public bordering private near their food plots on public? I find it a lot here in Monroe, Wisconsin. Last year led me to some success. You ever? I don't know if I've ever actually hunted over a food plot that was on private bordering public.
I wouldn't say that I hunt over them, but I do when I go out of state. And I was just doing it now. As I'm looking at the properties in Nebraska, I'm looking at remote areas like way in the backsides where nobody's going to get, where you got to walk 4 miles or 3 miles across a river or something. And they got crop fields or food plots that you see on aerials along the edges. I look for bedding inside of there that might be heading towards that. I look for features I think might hold a deer. I'm not going to hunt where right on their crops or right on the fence line or something, but I do look for deer traveling in that direction, and I do look for that feature. Do you? You don't?
Yeah, no, I do. I mean, if you know of a place that has, I mean, I can think of people that killed some really big deer on public land near a certain person's famous farm that is known for giant deer,
Mm-hmm.
That happens a lot. Not a lot, but I mean, I don't know. Yeah, there's definitely truth in everything. I mean, let's see here. This is that question that Oleg was talking about. I think he said Jacob, but it's Jason. He says, in this heat, what course of action would you recommend if someone does harvest a velvet deer to preserve velvet and keep from spoiling? Yeah, it's something I have planned out. So that's one reason that I'm kind of going to hunt this private, is because we can take a 4-wheeler in there and grab a deer real quick, get him out of there. Because I mean, if it's 100 degrees outside, I don't know how long you think a deer would last, Dan.
On 100 degrees, I think if you get it field dressed immediately, maybe
a couple hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you really need to take care of it quick.
Yeah. We have
I do think that, though, that's the extreme.
Yeah.
Because most of the time you shoot them in the evening or the morning, and it's not nowhere near that hot.
No. Right. We have a guy that has a cooler lined up that said we can use the cooler. And we have a taxidermist. The taxidermists around there are well aware of this season. I mean, they're all used to this season, so they're all working this weekend. So they're ready to go to keep the velvet fresh. There's crap you can buy for velvet antlers, to preserve them. Like if you shoot one in Colorado in the mountains, or something like that, like a mule deer, they have like little injectable things you can squeeze into their antlers to keep the velvet good until you get off the mountain. So there's some stuff like that, but yeah, you just got to work fast and try to make a good shot.
Hey, best case scenario, you get it in a freezer, right? Get that
Yeah.
head and cap in a freezer. Now, what I did for Nebraska is I researched and found a meat processor that's near where I'm at.
Yeah.
That'll be open. And anything I shoot, I'm going to run to him. But I got to get it out too. And depending on what property I am, it can be a chore getting a deer out.
Oh yeah, I bet. Yep. At least you won't be by yourself like I was last year.
Right. Jacob will just take his shirt off, throw it over his shoulders, straight 5 miles out for me. And I'll just walk behind him and film him.
I don't know. I think I'm going to be the Jacob of our group, because Gary, my dad,
one, just call me. I'll send Jacob down.
There you go. That'll be working. What does that Jacob going back and forth?
You guys get 2. You'll put 1 over each shoulder.
Oh man,
I wouldn't put it past him.
It's like that Mike Mitten. If you think, you know Mike Mitten, Dan?
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen that picture of him carrying them 2 bucks over his shoulder?
No.
He shot? No. I'll find it for you guys. Pretty good picture. Jacob has something to try to work towards, I think. I shouldn't show Jacob this. He'll throw his back out. Trying to.
Jacob would be like, hold my beer.
I don't know if I'll be able to find this picture. I got his book. I guarantee it.
I don't see him posting anything. He must not be on.
I haven't seen him on here. I can't even find Mike Mitten now, but anyway, he's a cool guy. He hung out with the Wensels all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I met him a couple times. Let's see here. Let's do some more scrolling. Okay. Goomer, he asked, would you target a remote clear cut opening week or just look for acorns in the timber? Just looking to get any deer. Public with no ag.
If you got acorns, I'd target them, but I'd target them not just in timber. I'd target them near something, like near a clear cut, near a river bottom, near a swamp, someplace where it would hold a deer. If I was in a large timber, I mean, if it's hilly, I would look at leeward sides and stuff like that. But if it's like flatter ground or rolling hills, I'd look for swamp usually, and I'd find acorn flats that are near those swamps. You know.
Yep. I think if he's just trying to kill a deer, he's can't really go wrong with a bunch of acorns laying on the ground if you can find something like that. If he's just wanting to kill a doe or something.
Yeah, it seems like if you got them isolated, if you got one spot where there's an oak flat, I mean, something's going to show up during daylight.
Right. Well, let's see here. Thanks for the question.
It's hard for me not to target the bugs. It is. I can't even doe hunt. It's just like once I fill my buck tag, I can't go out.
Yeah, it's
difficult. I like shooting does, but I mean, it's just not the same.
Right. We've had this question before, Dan, but I'm going to ask it again here. Zach asked, do you know any difference in buck bedding in areas with heavy wolf pressure?
One thing I've noticed about wolf pressure, and I don't know why this is, but when I get into big woods, and it doesn't seem to matter what state it is, whether it's Minnesota or Wisconsin or northern Michigan, when you put wolves in the mix, the deer seem to move a lot more during daylight. You see a lot more moving at like noonish and stuff than what I have back home where there really isn't as many wolves. And I don't know if that's more coincidence, but it seems to be a fact because everywhere I look where there's wolves, I think because the wolves hunt all night long, I think the deer move more during the day.
Yeah. I've never hunted in wolf country. All right, let's see here. There's some pretty funny comments about people were hoping this episode was going to be just you reading the book to us. Did you ever think about doing an audio version of it?
A lot of people are asking for it, but I don't know. I mean, I heard a good audio version would be expensive for me to make, but then I was, Jack from Gumleaf is writing a book, and he called me up to ask me what I was doing with mine, and we were talking, and he said that that Google has something where they do it automatically, like it's an AI system that does it, so it wouldn't be that expensive. So I'm going to look into it.
Yeah,
I really think you should buy the regular book though, and have the pictures to look at and stuff with the stories and
right.
But we'll try and get something done because I know a lot of people just don't have the time to read a book, but they have time to listen to audio while they're driving and stuff.
And they can just look at it on their, or listen to it when they're driving to work and back and all that. But here's that picture of Mike carrying those 2 bucks over his shoulders.
Nice.
There you go, Jacob. Put that one in your pipe and smoke it. I think it was these 2 bucks right here. Let's see here.
That moose. He's got that moose over his shoulder.
No, these 2 right here. These guys.
Yeah, that's something because I mean, it's one thing to like throw a little 2-year-old over your shoulders. Those aren't 2-year-olds.
No, they're not. They're giant idiot buck. Dude, he has awesome.
The last buck that I shot, 4 grown men couldn't hold it up on a pole.
Yeah. He's a big man. Like he's, he's well over 6 foot tall, and he's just really this wide guy. But he's a traditional bow hunter, but he's also a soloist. He goes to Alaska every year moose hunting by himself.
Nice.
And he has a couple really good books. And like, I'm not a big reader, but he has some good books too to read about, chasing solitude. And there's some other ones that he's written, but
Kurt's been after me to get with you and go with him moose hunting at his place in Alaska.
Yeah, that would be.
I was telling him he needs to get his guide license so that we can shoot bears.
Yeah,
because you can't shoot a grizzly bear there without a guide's license.
Right.
or without a guide.
Gosh, that'd be a trip. That'd be
But
a
he's
trip
like,
right
come
there.
on out. You stay at my place. I'll take you out there.
Right. Goomer, he had another question. That's a pretty good one. He says, do thermals still affect hills when it's closed canopy since sunlight doesn't really hit the ground? It definitely still does in my book, and it may be like maybe it takes it longer for the thermals to work, but I think they're still going to have some kind of effect.
I noticed thermals in early season, so yeah.
Yeah. Here's a question. Yeah. Zach asked, Dan, how do you climb the tree with the stick and stand? Do you put the stand on your back and hook the steps on your waist, or do you go down and back up individually?
What I do is I come to the back side of the tree. So I'm facing the bedded deer because I'm usually pretty close to where the bedding area is. And I use the tree for cover. And I put the first stick on facing me. So I got the tree in front of me, right between me and the deer. And I can look around the tree. And I put the bottom step at the center of my kneecap because that's your stride without overdoing it. And I put the stick on, pull it down, and then I put the next stick on with the same spacing from ground level. Then I take one stick and I slide up the tree. I go one stick off the ground, so I'm barely off the ground. I put the third stick on. Then I come down and get my fourth stick and I get the stand. And I go up and I put the fourth stick on and I have the stand on my back and I slide it off my back. I have one of my straps on my back. So it's on loosely. And I slide it off, put it around to the front of this tree, put it on, lock it on from the back, and then I slide around the tree into the stand. People always talk about going up and down the tree, but if you listen to me close, the first two sticks are put on at ground level, and the third stick is put on one, just a step up. And the fourth stick, you go up with the stand. So really, 5 sticks, you might have one trip up and down.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, you're really not going up and down the tree that much. And I try to do that really slow, methodical, and in a lot of cases, I'm watching around that tree because I'm in a more open area to see just how high I can get. And I'm paying attention so that I don't get to a spot and I look behind me and a deer can see me in the tree, right? So I'm looking forward towards him around the tree.
There you go. Yeah, people really get caught up on how to climb a tree, and you got to be whatever works for you, right? Like whatever's you're comfortable with. And
what I don't like is all those like a one stick system. You're moving too much.
Yeah.
I don't like the aiders if you're putting them all the way up, like you're putting up in the air because they're moving too much. They force you to move in a different manner. If I were going to use an aider, I'd use it on the bottom stick, and that's about it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Derek had a question about red oaks. He's asking if deer will hit red oaks right away in September.
Yeah, they eat whatever acorns are available. They'll even eat them when white oaks are around, but they're going to head towards the white oaks and eat the white oaks first, usually.
Yeah. I think like the scientific answer, which is kind of dumb for me to say because it's the last thing I am, but they typically like red oaks later in the year if they're around still too, because I guess it's not as acidic and whatnot, but they definitely will hit them if they got to eat something,
Well, where I come from, man, they're going to eat acorns before everything else, but they're going to prefer the white ones. They love acorns, period, of any kind, but they prefer the white ones.
Yeah,
I'm sure you're right with the acidic thing, and that's probably why they prefer the white ones, but they love acorns, both red and white.
Yep. Aaron has a question that we've never been asked, Dan. He says, you've hunted with friends with disabilities. He said, I have a son who can't access the ground I hunt because of a disability. He said, any suggestions on helping him set up on public land?
Is a son who can't hunt how?
He can't access the ground I hunt because of because he's disabled. Any suggestion for helping him set up on public land?
Yeah, I don't know what his disability is, but I've helped a lot of people where they have a really hard time walking or traveling through any kind of cover. And what I've done is I've found them spots real close to the road that are good. And there's plenty of them around. And, and in some cases I've sat with them, but I get them out there, make sure I get them back out of the woods. And they don't have to get out a mile. There's plenty of really good spots close to the road. And if you're hunting with him, and if you're like me, probably, I don't know, 30 or 40% of my spots are right next to the road and the rest are real remote. And I would give up, if it was my son, I'd give up my spots near the road so that he had good spots to hunt and I could still hunt the deep stuff when I was on my own.
There you go. Speaking of sons, not that your son's disabled, but how'd Jamie's bow turn out? Is it still shooting horrible?
It's still shooting funny. I don't know what's going on. I mean, and we had Steve help him with tuning it, paper tuning and stuff. And he got back and it started shooting funny again. We took it back and it's still shooting a little bit funny, but it was breaking paper really good at the shop. And then it just gets, every now and then you get a weird flight out of it, but he's still hitting the target exactly where he needs to be.
Yeah.
And I told him we would take his old forge bow and we'd, have Steve actually offered to, he still has parts around and stuff to rebuild it for him so it fits him, because his old forge bow is a kid's bow.
Yeah.
And I offered to let him shoot my old bow, my old forge bow, and he doesn't want to do that. He really wants to shoot one with Dave's bow.
Yeah.
But I think maybe there's something wrong with the bow. Like maybe one of the limbs is out or something, or cracked, or I have no idea. But it's still shooting. I mean, he's still got, an apple-sized pattern at 20 yards.
Yeah.
And he's still getting good penetration, but if you're the one shooting the bow, you can look down and see the arrow flutter a little bit, like on one out of three shots. And we just can't put our finger on it. And Pagel couldn't figure it out, and I took it to a pro shop, and they couldn't figure it out. And Pagel is an expert. I mean, he designed and built bows for a living.
Right.
He built forged bows. He was the president of the company.
Right.
So it's, I don't know what it is, but we get one season and let him get his deer down with Dave's bow, because I think that'd be special.
Yeah.
I got him a B stand. I'm going to give him a camera and a camera arm, and he doesn't want me holding his hand. He wants to go out and do it himself, and he just wants to get back into it and start killing deer again. And
heck yeah.
The one thing about him though is he'd probably get mad if I'm saying this, but I'm going to anyways. He's a little apprehensive because he feels like that if he films hunting deer and he doesn't shoot one as big as I shoot, that he feels like there's this reputation on him or something. And I'm like, nobody cares what you shoot, man. Just shoot something.
Yeah.
And he's half starved to death too. He's not making much money and wants to meet. I'm like, just shoot a deer. Just get back, because he hadn't hunted in quite a few years now. And he was really good when he was younger. He only shot 3 deer, but they were all bucks, and the smallest one was like 120 inches.
Yeah.
And so he's all gung-ho, and I just hope he doesn't have too much on his shoulders, like too much weight, because that'll make you fail right away.
Right.
I'm trying to tell him to just enjoy the hunt.
Yeah.
I tried to get him to take off of work and go out to Nebraska with us, but couldn't do it.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be an exciting year. But it's probably fun for you to have him hunting again.
Yeah, it is.
Let's see here. Mike asks, when you jump a mature buck, how long till it disregards you? Trackers say within 30 minutes.
I would say anywhere from 1 minute to 8 years.
That's probably a good answer. You probably got it covered. Yeah.
Yeah, you have no idea. I mean, they're probably like people, it's where it's, some of them might run a little ways and forget about you, and some of them might go a long ways and watch back, and a lot of it probably has to do with their experiences,
Yeah.
what happened to them on their journey to the age that they're at. I think there are deer that are very paranoid, and there are deer that are pretty easygoing, and a lot of it has to do with the type of bump you do. I mean, is it a hard bump? I mean, did you go in where that deer got your wind, jumped up, looked at you in the eyes from 10 yards and barreled out of there, or running for his life, rocking over the top of trees? Or did he hear something and it just didn't sound right, and he took a couple bounds and he looked around and thought, I don't know, it's a little suspicious. Maybe I'll just take a little walk.
Yeah.
Different ways you bump them. So I think you do a hard bump, you're going to have a hard time killing that deer because he's going to walk around with a paranoia.
Right.
But,
yep.
That's not an easy question to answer.
Smelled you. A lot of people are asking Dan, this is our last question here, if you mark the arrow so it's not the same arrow flying weird. I mentioned that to Dan. Yeah, I mentioned that to Dan when he was having the problems.
I numbered them with a marker.
Sometimes
we actually thought maybe the feathers were hitting something too, because it was close. So then we put a whisker biscuit on her, even though that was like against his religion. He was pretty upset about me doing that. He wanted to drop away. But we put a whisker biscuit on it and tuned it with the whisker biscuit, and it still has a problem. So I don't know.
Yeah. Well, that's the end of the questions, Dan. Congrats on the book, man. I was pretty pumped for you. I'll be honest with you, I didn't expect it to be that high either. Like on the list, you don't ever know how those things are going to go. It's it's crazy the amount of people we reach,
Yeah, and I'm pretty proud of it. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is.
I left my copy sitting on my bench at work, and my brother came to the shop, who's not a hunter. He didn't know anything that was going on with anything, and he just saw the book laying there, and you wrote a book. So I get a message in the middle of the night because he works night shift, and he's like, dude, I just read the article on page 128, and he goes, and you brought me to tears right here in the shop, and everybody's staring at me. He goes, I can't believe it.
That's funny.
Because it was an article about our mom,
Yeah.
But it's not really. I mean, a lot you can gain. It depends on how open-minded you are, but you can gain a lot of hunting insight in it.
Yeah.
But you really get a lot of insight about life. It's more about the journey from a young man who hunted through life.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah. I'm excited to read it, and it's in the description, everybody. If you guys want to buy it, there's a link below to buy it. I said that earlier in the show, but I know a lot of you weren't on then, so hop down to the description, hit the link, and you can get it there. All right, everybody, we'll talk to you sometime next week, probably. I may get on this weekend. Me and a couple of the guys from Tennessee may get on, talk about our hunt, and just whatever, just BS. Maybe talk about CWD down there.
You can get on when we're down in Nebraska, and you can tell everybody how my team's beating your team.
Yeah. I don't know if we'll have internet there or not. I haven't looked into that.
I shouldn't talk too cocky after your year last year.
You know how it is. I may not see a buck this year. All right, everybody. We'll see you later. Bye.